I noticed that some of your art looks very much just like a functional object. Can we talk about some of the other things that you do off to your right?
We most certainly can, because most of my talks, actually I want them to lead to this. People see me carving, and yes, we did masks and stuff like that, but I want the world to know that we have some of the best art in the world here on the East Coast, Canada, Wabanaki territory, but it was functional art. So it was things like baskets, paddles, things like this. They are done to such a level that they are absolutely gorgeous, and they're all handmade, but they're functional. My people were nomadic, like I was saying earlier, so we traveled. So everything had to be ultra light, ultra strong. That's why the birch bark canoe is one of the wonders in the world. Literally one warrior could carry that on a portage, and things like that. So my people, their art was functional. So like I said, it was our baskets, it was our paddles. So once people come see my art here, I get to explain to them truly what art is from here and how we did it by hand.
I'm not getting the impression that you use the same tool to chisel a tree into a paddle.
No, I'm actually using a draw knife and a sawhorse, or a draw horse, they call it. So it's actually what my people use. It's actually just a pinch. I have them inside, but anyway, you can sit on them, and it pinches your paddle or your piece of wood into place, and you take a draw knife and slowly just whittle your way out a paddle. And what I also done on this is how my people decorated almost everything, because it showed what was yours. So it showed where you were from, let alone the styles. And that's what I like to show too. This is a beaver tail from this area. And that showed what type of water you're in, that showed what type of tribe you were from. So this showed who we were, let alone the artwork that's in it. But the artwork is done traditionally as well. How my people did their artwork was, they took a knife, probably wouldn't have been a knife back then, it would have been a rock. They would have etched their style in. They took ash from the fire, rub it in, and that's what I do. I try to do everything as traditional as possible because it's functional, it's beautiful, it lasts. But yes, that's what I want the world to know more and more, is that the type of art that really comes from here is more functional art. So I'd like people to really notice more. I know they do, because when they see them, there are some of the most beautiful pieces of art you've ever seen.
Well, I've done some very bad paddling over the years, and when I held yours, it felt like it would be a good day holding that, that paddle. You know, it would help me get where I was going.
Definitely. And some of the older paddles I looked at, they've had different styles. They've had things on them that you can see they were using them for weapons. They might have been using them for ducks or fish. I'm learning as I go, and I look at the older paddles that I can find. But I found some with like teeth in the top, and I talked to some of the elders before, and they're guessing or assuming that would have been for, like I said, maybe killing a duck or spearing a fish or something, or any type of amphibian. Anyway, it's amazing.
And the food sources were so prevalent, you could hardly miss.
Yes, their stories, I love hearing them. Peskotomuhkati means our people at that time, they said they were so plentiful, and there's stories of it that children and adults at nighttime would go down to the Skutik or the St.Croix, and they would take torches, and they'd be so full that they'd be fishing with buckets. They go down and they pick up their fish with buckets. So yes, it was a different time. It was a time of plenty. I don't know if you've seen them yet, but our shell middens in that area, I don't know if you've been able to see them yet, but that shows occupation like I've never seen before, and the wealth that they had of food, little along the coast, the kelp highways, like truly amazing. When you see one of these shell middens, and I hope you get to see one in the future or get to document them, because literally they're the most amazing thing I've ever had my feet on. To be on a mound of shells that is 30 feet deep and 120 feet long, that they assume was occupied for between 3,000 and 4,000 years in a row, that it's actually so deep, and now we're realizing why they did it. They used it because it's more alkaline. It didn't waste things away. They could put things in there. It's amazing learning.
The thought that came to my mind and I think you're speaking of Minister's Island.
Yes, one of them, yes. There's many.
If we took everybody we've ever known and all our relatives there and ate there all summer, we couldn't make a midden that big. We'd have to do that for hundreds and hundreds of years, which means continuous occupation,
Right.
and it means the knowledge is passed on.
Exactly.
It's really quite a remarkable piece of communication from the past.
It really is. And it's not hundreds, it's actually thousands. This one I'm talking about is not on Minister's Island, it's another one. But they say it's thousands of years old. They're thinking 3,000. Of the same family groups going there for 3,000 years is truly unbelievable. So now you can see, yeah, when things were passed down orally, like you can see like how these tight-knit groups, and back then life was different, it's much harder. So they would have been smaller groups, right? So it's very neat. The shell middens, my first time, was magical. And I hope more people get to see them in the future. And they do show occupation, serious occupation. And what people got to realize now, these are the ones that are uncovered now, where most of them are, you got to remember, the seas have changed. So if you ever get an ice age back, you'll see the sea recede again. Actually, our true middens will be uncovered. So they're really out in the water. And that's what you got to think of where these paleo shorelines are. And yes, so most of them, we have a lot now. We have tons of them all along the coastline. But the ones that are going to be found in the future, I can't wait to find out. Because it should show a whole different era of occupation. So it's going to be very neat.